Well, hello and welcome to the Angelo Live Studios. I'm Manny Diaz, joined alongside Caleb Wallace of the Angelo Freedom Defenders. And what's interesting about Caleb, he's part of a group here in town that's all about your state and local rights. And you guys are certainly trying to promote that. You do have an event coming up on Saturday morning into the afternoon. It's COVID Tyranny. First and foremost, tell us a little bit about what the event is all about.
So it's called an End the COVID Tyranny. So as we see, it's been impacted most of our lives across the nation, especially here in Tom Green County. So the basic rights of breathing free air, moving about freely, going into businesses without being harassed about a mask or about these doctors levying these ridiculous restrictions upon its citizens with no representation in city council, commissioners' courts. Judge Steve Floyd nowhere to be found on this. So we are a group of people. We're not just a bunch of angry people. We're people that, yes, we are fed up, but we also want to provide options and provide a positive option. And with this rally, this is important to us as a group because we have to start making changes now, reverse the trend back to normalcy, back before March 2020. And what we're seeing now is people were scared. We were kind of unsure what this was all about. We were being fed stuff from the top saying, hey, this is super dangerous. And we were all kind of unsure. I mean, rightly so. But the science is out there and is saying otherwise, that this is perfectly fine to live with. It's deadly to certain people, but we never in the history of this country we've locked down healthy people with the sick. And we're paying the price. We're seeing depression prescriptions skyrocket. We're seeing suicides, teen suicides going through the roof. Parents don't know how to deal with it. They're losing their jobs. They had to take care of their kids because they're doing online school because the school refuses to do in-person learning.
Gotcha.
So this rally is here to get everybody on the same page, provide the launching pad, provide the options, provide the material for them to arm themselves and defend themselves, and to go out and share a positive message with their neighbors, with their politicians, and with their church leaders, with their family, that we can go back before March.
Now, for those folks who are, say, and I think, at some point, maybe we've all said this, likely you have not, but for those who have said, just wear the mask, wear the damn mask, what's your message to those folks?
That's, as Dr. Fauci said back in 2016, so that's going to be more of a comfort than anything. It's about as useful as a piece of paper. It's got nothing to do with your health. But if that makes you feel comfortable, if that makes you feel that you're doing your part to protect yourself, by all means, that is your right. That is your freedom. Your free agency is granted to you by God, and it is upheld and protected by our politicians across the nation. What we're seeing is the reverse, where we're starting to see politicians are God. What they say goes. We have to do what they tell us. There's no room for discussion. That's not the case. People who try to, myself, I won't go to a business that requires me to do it. I mean, I'll politely walk in and they ask me to do it. I told them, no, I'm okay, thank you. Politely say, I'm all right, thank you. But they insist, you know what? I'll turn my business somewhere else. And we're starting to see doors shutter because people are making these decisions. They're tired of it, and so local businesses here are going to start paying the price.
Now, you've gone into places now.
Yes.
Have they refused your business at
Yes.
that point?
Yeah. There's I don't think it's right to dox them here. I mean, you'll find it for yourself, as you go here. But particular businesses here are requiring you wear a mask, and if you don't, you can't shop with us. And by law, they were supposed to offer an option for curbside. Well, what's with the window shopper trying to gain a perspective of what he needs or she needs for certain products at their house or work. So we've kind of resulted to the Amazon deliveries. And as we see today, our Amazon deliveries are still coming on time. Amazon is hiring people full force. Walmarts are back in full force. HEB.
Yeah.
So where are our priorities? Where are the priorities that we want to have in our life, in our daily life? Do we want to be faced with this? Every time I step out to get gas, every time I get out to go get food, I go out to drop my daughters off to school, I'm bombarded with this stuff in my face. And we're only doing this to ourselves. It's not the mayor and Judge C. Floyd and Dr. Veredas coming, in squad cars telling us we better do it, better do it, better do it. It's the business owners, it's the schools, it's the churches. They're doing it to ourselves. So we're trying to encourage folks. Let's have some courage. Let's have some objective truth. Let's stop playing cheerleader politics here, and let's just accept the facts for what they are. And unfortunately, it doesn't play out in their favor.
Certainly. Now, conversations that you and I have had before, and certainly prior to this, a lot of this, certainly it comes from the top, from the federal government, from your perspective. But you say that this is all streamlined from our state and local government. Is your beef with them or the federal government or both?
It's a mixture of both. But like I said before, I being involved in national organizations and campaigns, that's a pretty big hill to climb. And it's a lot of times you come tumbling back down to the very beginning where you started, when you got nothing to show for your work.
Right.
Where, like I said before, Tip O'Neill said, all politics are local, every last bit of it. So I took that to heart, and I kind of reevaluated what I was doing to help affect what I thought was affecting change for San Angelo, Tongarn County, and Texas. And I was like, well, this isn't quite working, and I'm not seeing the results I'd like to see. And by my ill-advised attention to national stuff, we started seeing a foothold being taken place right here in our hometown. Mm-hmm. And starting to see the same results, what we're seeing in California, Washington, D.C., Oregon, all that stuff is starting to grow here in San Angelo. And so my beef here is San Angelo. That's my number one priority. And that's this place I love. It's a place where I'm raising my family, my farm. Everything that I have is invested in Tongarn and to the success of Tongarn County. And so if I'm going to allow my kids to thrive and succeed, I have to do my part by providing, like I said, positive results and positive alternatives to get us back on track.
You talk about these positive alternatives. What do you think, if our state, local government, even our federal government is listening to Caleb Wallace, takes a listen, what steps should be taken from your perspective to get us beyond what we call this new norm? I hate to hear that. It's just a terrible thing. But from your perspective, what needs to happen?
Well, there is a couple things that need to happen. Number one, we have to remove the power from these health officials. They are not elected by the people to represent us. So that includes the Shannon Health Department running our lives here in Tongarn County. That's the number one first step. We remove the power from Dr. Veredas. Number two, we make sure and encourage Judge Steve Floyd, the Commissioner's Court, City Council, Mayor Brenda Gunter, the City Manager of Valenzuela. We have to make sure they roll back every edict that was been placed upon us. We just had one come down for Halloween. They're governing the very little things that our children can go get candy and enjoy a night of not worrying about a dang mask and worrying about the social distancing protocols and COVID. Just want to be a monster for a night, or be Elsa for a night, not be this kid in fear for its life, being told by their people that if you don't do this, people are going to die because of you.
Right.
So we need to roll back. And as I know this seems like this doesn't come off as, me caring about your health. That's not the case. I care more so about my health, my family's health, and my mental health, their mental health, and that's my responsibility. And in order to see them thrive and our family thrive, these restrictions have to be completely removed today. No more. Absolutely not. She needs to grow a spine and say, I have conversations with Mayor Gunner saying, well, all I'm doing is just following the governor's orders. Well, that's not sufficient for when the Russians took their religious freedoms away. That wasn't sufficient with the Chinese did it to the Muslims there in China, saying we're just following the governor's orders. Was it sufficient for following the Hitler's orders, saying I'm just doing my job? Is that fair? Those are drastic comparisons, but it's the same principle. We have to have people willing to stand up and have the courage to say no. That's the one thing we're not seeing today is people saying, no, sir, not doing this.
So from your point of view, it's going to take the people, not necessarily the elected officials, to certainly turn this thing around.
Right. I mean, it's people. So the opposition and people who feel this is a necessity or want to use this as a tool to gain some sort of foothold here in our county, will tell us otherwise. And they're very loud. They're very well funded, organized, and we've allowed ourselves to be labeled as the silent majority. Well, that has inflicted much pain upon us. This is all our fault. I mean, we have to accept that we failed to uphold our duties as constitutionalists and as for our freedom for our republic. And we've allowed ourselves just to sit back, idly by, watch Fox News, watch liberals get owned and clap our hands like, yeah, we got another liberal. But yet we go out, daily life, put our mask on, comply with every little order, but yet we're not seeing, we're getting leftist results today, more so than we ever could have imagined under a Bernie Sanders administration. We could have never imagined this under a socialist. So we have to organize. We have to get our voices more clear, more direct. We have to be loud. We have to be calm and cool-headed and offer positive alternatives. Because these politicians, if all they're hearing is this echo chamber of you need to do this, or you hate people, or you want people to die, or you don't care about your health, or those ridiculous comparisons. Mm-hmm. If we aren't just as loud or even more readily available for them to come to us for advice and suggestions or for help, we will never see them succeed. So as much as we put the weight on Brendan Gunner and Steve Floyd, it's just as important for us to help them make the right choices, and not just complain. Mm-hmm. We're doing no better than what the other side is doing, but yet the other side is saying, well, do this, and then you'll be good, you'll be all right. Mm-hmm. Just keep doing this.
Right. All right. Well, the event is on Saturday, starts at 11 a.m., going to be at City Hall here in San Angelo. Are you expecting a big crowd?
Yeah, we sure are. We have a Texas Scorecard showing up. We have the John Birch Society State Director showing up. We've got the Tea Party, Republican Women of San Angelo. We've got the National Hispanic Republican Assembly going to be speaking. For a few speakers from us, from on our side. We're going to be providing some tents. I know it's going to be, this weather is ridiculous. It's supposedly supposed to be 90 this Saturday, so there'll be tents, there'll be some water, there'll be some pamphlets and stuff, some material for you to take home. And so this is important for us. Come share, come listen, come share your ideas with us, and help each other build this launch pad and perpetuate us into freedom again. Mm-hmm. Perpetuate us back into before March 2020.
And for the folks they're watching, what's the best way to kind of get in touch with you? They want
my phone number is free for everybody, and I'm not afraid to take your phone calls. 325 812-8559. I know that's
a bold move.
I know.
That's a bold move.
Call me. I will take your calls. Email me, caleb@wallacetx.com. You know, that I'm more than open to take any of your phone calls. You want to cuss me out? Call me. I want to talk to you. I think this is important for, you know, if we are going to organize and deliver the results we want to see, if we're not willing to hear the other side or hear the opposition or get the criticism or the praises, well, you know, this is not all just going to be mushy, great stuff. It's going to be hard, a slug uphill battle. So we have to confront it head on.
It's a good way. Alrighty, he's Caleb Wallace with the San Angelo Freedom Defenders. I'm Manny Diaz for San Angelo Live.